this particular time. We ask that if you have your cell phone, if you'd be kind enough to put them on vibrate or turn them off. Councilman Jackson is going to lead us in the invocation, and Councilwoman Taylor is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody bow their heads. Gracious Father, we come to you today just asking for your guidance. Our city is hurting and we're seeking answers. We ask that you bless this meeting. We ask that you allow us to do things in decent order, in your will and not our own will. We ask this and other darling blessings in your daughter's son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Stand and face the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very kindly. Madam Clerk, would you be kind enough to call the roll?
Councilwoman Taylor. Present. Councilman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Farrell. Councilman Butler.
Here.
Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Green.
I'm here.
And Councilwoman Bowles.
Present.
Thank you. I received a text from Council Member Talaferro that said that he would be running a little late. Tomorrow, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the administrative conference meeting Monday, April 24, 2023, and the city council meeting Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Does any member of the council have awards recognition of distinguished guests not to see 15 minutes?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
I do as well, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Councilman Rooks.
Mr. Tim Huck, please.
Mr. Tim Huck. All right.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Timothy Huck, 415 Spring Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I've actually been here multiple times on similar situations. I really just wanted to talk about this weekend in downtown Shreveport and what's going on, and it's a continuous problem, not just this weekend. It just happened to make a little bit more press and news this weekend. The bars in downtown that have chosen to put sound systems on the outside of their building. These sound systems that are on the outside of the building, they're not trying to throw parties to their patrons. They're trying to have street parties. Sound systems inside your building, taking care of your customers. Sound system outside your building, you're trying to make a street party. Every time they have these sound systems on the outside of their buildings, we have these situations that happen that you got to see on video. I was here in November after we had one where they had the DJ encouraging people to stop traffic, 18-wheelers stopped, traffic backed up. And I was told they don't have a decimal meter, they don't have this, they don't have that. I've ordered a decimal meter. I know how long it takes to get them in. I'm positive we could have one between November and now. We're 6 months later, and we're still having the same problems. My concern is that we're having to do reactive policing because the police are having to react to after the crowds have already built up. And we could do proactive by simply telling these people to turn their music off from the outside of their building. Turn it down. If you can hear it 75 feet from it, you can tell how far you can hear it. When I can hear the music in my building over my sound system, and I have one of the best sound systems in town, and I can hear it over my sound system, then there's no way it's not too loud. When the DJs are telling people to get in the streets and actually block the street, and the DJs are telling them, you can hear them on the video, telling people to get in the street and block the street, there's got to be some form of violations. I understand that we have a shortage in officers, and that is no question about it, but we're not so short that we can't do proactive. The officers are down there before the crowds build. You turn the music off before the crowd build, then you don't have these problems. Now, some people say, man, they were just partying, there was no problems. Well, there was multiple people hitting heads with beer bottles. There was also 9 police officers who had to go deal with that, which means there was no officers taking care of other situations that were going on. And all of this would have been stopped. All of this would have been stopped had there not been speakers outside pointing into the street shooting music 2-3 blocks away. I'm positive that there's something that can be done, but it could simply start with just enforcing the ordinances that are in place. Smoking bans in place, there's capacity ordinances in place, there's noise ordinances in place, and if they just enforce those few ordinances, all these problems will go away. That's really pretty much to the nut of my.
Thanks, Tim.
Hey. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Mr. Chair, I have Mr. Raynard French, who I'd like to ask to come forward, please. Mr. Raynard French is going to be discussing the new tech school that is just received certification in the city of Shreveport that will help advance our students and as well as adults who seek to have a career in the technical industry. So has some handouts that they're going to pass around to each council member. And so I will allow him this time to introduce himself and tell us about the tech school.
Good afternoon, Councilman. My name is Renard French. I am a co-founder of Tech Hub Institute, LLC. We're based downtown Shreveport at the Office Hub. James Thrower is also co-owner of Tech Hub Institute. So what we wanted to do was create a platform where individuals can actually learn a tech skill, tech trade. We have 2 courses available, which is software development and data analytics. They're the top 5 in the tech industry right now. There's a huge network of tech jobs that are prevalent right now, and I think we as a selective few know about those tech jobs and tech opportunities that are prevalent. There's a huge digital divide and inclusion in the southern regions, specifically Shreveport, Louisiana. Individuals aren't really going to college like they used to. So their nature is to try to figure a different lane. We're in the age of big data, and we have so many different automations that are replacing individuals for automated jobs, which is leaving the workforce unemployed. And so to kind of head that off, James and I decided to come up with the tech school, which is 20 weeks long, but it gives the individual the autonomy and the aptitude to be proficient in a tech skill. Trade schools are prevalent, but in the age of big data, everybody's on a cell phone, right? Everybody's on a laptop. Why not learn how to create an app? Why not learn how to actually create something technically sound? So what we would like to do is create a platform, which we have. We actually went through the licensing from the Board of Regents, and so we're licensed as a proprietary school, number 2374. We're definitely proud about that, but we want to definitely get back to the community and help bridge the gap and the diversity gap within technology. So we have an upskill, reskill program as well. Individuals that don't necessarily know the tech capacity within their jobs or understand the small aspects of how to function a computer. We're able to show individuals how to basically upskill in their current workforce and also reskill so they won't get eliminated or laid off from their jobs so they can be sustainable. So wanted to come here and present to you guys today, let you know what we have prevalent. We definitely want to be a staple in the community, and we're here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any council have any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Any other council members have any guests? Mr. Mayor, do you have any awards or recognition of distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Mr. Mayor, do you have any other communications relative to city business other than awards and recognition of distinguished guests?
I just have three little minor items,
Yes.
but they're significant. This week is Public Service Recognition Week, as you may have seen, and so I wanted to be grateful for all of our city employees and all of the people up here who sacrificed to serve the people of Shreveport. And Public Service Recognition Week is May 7th to the 13th. The same week is also Drinking Water Week, and so I wanted to make sure that to recognize our folks at Water and Sewer who do this. To them, every week is Drinking Water Week, but this is a week when we can recognize it. And then finally, today we had installed something that actually is a brainstorm of one of my staff members, Camille Tharp Call, and my wife. That is a presentation, and it will rotate, of artwork, original artwork on the second floor to decorate the second floor and also to give recognition to local artists. And we're doing that in conjunction with the Shreveport Regional Arts Council. That was installed this morning.
Yes. Thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions for Mr. Green from Property Standards?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Green, once again, thank you. I'm glad to see that building on 70th Street is almost gone.
It's gone.
I saw it this weekend. It looked like they were just doing a little cleanup, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you getting that taken care of. It was really a danger, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Green. Will there be a revenue collection plan and implementation report, finance, tomorrow? Thank you. Public hearings, there are none. Mr. Dark, will you have any legislation to be added tomorrow?
No, sir.
Thank you. Today, we will hear public comments on agenda items as well as non-agenda items. We have your request to speak at this particular time. The vice chair will control the time, and you will have 3 minutes. Thank
We
you.
have a number of public comments on today, and so you have 3 minutes to speak to the council. Again, I wish to extend my condolences to you, Mr. Houston, and your family. So with that being said, Ms. John Glover, you are up to speak.
A little warm in here today. John Glover, 9100 Walker Road, apartment 217, Shreveport 71118. I was going over the agenda this past weekend and even this morning, and I asked myself, what is the purpose of the administrative conference? I'd just like to know, because when I go into the charter is not specific in that you all get to discuss anything of substance when you're here. It is very general, and the generality of it really has no bearing on why I stand before you. If there is an agenda item that I don't fully understand, I definitely have to wait to hear what you all's position is. But oftentimes that's not done here. Today it's done tomorrow. Oftentimes I don't make it to the regular meeting, so therefore I don't get to make the statement. So my intent and purpose is that there be an adjustment and amendment to what the purpose of the administrative conference is and what it is to address. If it's a work session, then indeed we would like to hear the comments of what you all are addressing with regards to those agenda items. We don't get that often. We get the preliminary, but we don't get the meat of what you're discussing. We don't walk out of here. Let me go back. I don't walk out of here with an understanding of clarity. So it is my intent and purpose again to have that particular agenda item, well, not item, that particular section in your charter addressed, whereby it will read that you will discuss the agenda in its entirety, that we will get the essence of what it is supposed to be addressing, because we don't get it. And then we don't have to hear later on, if we come before you, an unacceptable reception with regards to maybe comments, and then we can avoid any unscrupulous actions or acts in this effort altogether. So again, if there's a process that I need to undertake to submit to you all, the council, letting you know my position with regards to that particular section of the charter, then I would ask that you provide that to me. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Barnes.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Glover?
Yes.
I can't speak for everybody, but I do know the work session is designed for us to talk amongst each other if we have any questions, because we have to meet in this format since it's an open forum. However, as far as being your council person, if there's any questions or if you want to know what I'm thinking about any given matter, I'm I'll be prepared before the meeting. I start doing my research once the agenda comes out. So I'm more than welcome to talk to you about what I'm feeling about certain topics. But I don't think we're ever going to get to a platform where you're going to know how all 6 of us or 7 of us are feeling outside of this open meeting if we decide to bring up a topic in this format. But me specifically, you can call me Friday, Saturday, and then we can discuss those items.
May I
Yes.
address what you
Yes.
just said?
Yes.
In section 1, the meetings, it is very clear as to what you all get to discuss. It does not give you all, nor does it afford you all, the opportunity to vote on anything. But those agenda items, definitely, if you all even speak amongst yourselves, I'm pretty astute enough to understand what your position may or may not be. That, again, equips me to come before you on Tuesday if there are questions to address with regards to your conversations, your communications that you've had between each other. I do thank you, Councilman Jackson, for your giving me that opportunity and providing that information as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Terrence Wynn. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening.
There.
On April the 23rd, 2023, Joseph Dwayne Teller was murdered by 3 Shreveport police officers. Videotapes captured it, body cam captured it. To date, no one, the video cam, the body cams hasn't been released. However, Cinco de Mayo was the other night. So they was partying. No one got injured. If injured, not seriously injured. But one of your council members, Mr. Bocher, you took it upon yourself to look at that video and want to call for arrest. But you haven't called for the arrest of the police officers, and you saw that video also. So is it a race thing with you, or what is it? Because you can call out these black guys that's on this truck dancing, call out to the mirror to arrest them, but you ain't calling out the police to arrest them for murdering a black man in front of your eyes on camera. It's something kind of discriminatory about your approach to things. Black people deserve jail and white people don't. And we can say that one of those officers that killed Joseph Dwayne Teller was a black person. But I have never heard you call for the arrest of anybody white. You want to arrest people for dancing on a truck, having fun, celebrating. We have celebrated. Black people have celebrated our enslavement since we've been here. But if we just go out and celebrate the Mexicans' freedom, you want to call for arrest. Why? When people are dying, black people are dying. We crying about our deaths, but you ain't calling for the arrest of the police. You ain't calling for the arrest of the body cam, the releasing of the body cam. Why you ain't asking the mayor to get that body cam released? That murder happened on April the 23rd. And no one has answered for that. But somebody can dance on a truck without an injury. This isn't Reginald Demery. If you know who Reginald Demery is, he's the brother, the white guy that was beaten after the Rodney King verdict. That didn't happen. They didn't pull the man from the truck and beat him. But you want them arrested for dancing on the truck, but you don't want the police arrested for taking the life of a black man. Something wrong with that. So, I'm through.
Pastor Lacey Houston. I'm going to ask you to lower your voice in the chamber.
Good evening, council. 2 weeks ago, I was sitting in my office watching the city council meeting here in Shreveport, and with my family, Pastor Councilman James Green asked them to repeat after him because God had a message. Well, pastor to pastor, I'm asking you to ask your panel to repeat after me because God have a message. Can we do that? They obliged you. Can you oblige us?
Sure, I will.
Okay. Repeat after me. God has a word for you.
God has a word
And
for you.
that is, we want justification
We want justification.
or we want justice.
Oh, we want justice.
It's been 3 weeks. If you had a video of Joseph with a gun trying to kill anybody, it would have already been released. The reason there is no release of a video right now is because you don't have it. We understand that this process, as tough as it is for us, we understand that y'all have finances, the city finances to think about. Well, we don't have that luxury. We had a funeral on Saturday. And 2 days after the funeral, the mother is celebrating her birthday here in the city council chambers. We watched the video. We watched both parts of the video. We seen when the police officers approached the car. We seen only seconds after approaching the car, they snatched him out of the car. We know that he did snatch away from him, but what was said at that car, the body cam footage would tell us that. They chased him down the couple of steps, and like I said to the mayor and to the chief of police when they met with us a week ago, whatever it was, you can clearly see from the video that instead of grabbing hands trying to put handcuffs on, they were beating him. So we got a beating happening live on the camera. After that, there's a shooting that takes place. You don't see his front until after he's dead. He flips over and dies. Before that, all you see is the black hoodie that he's wearing. So my assessment is, and the autopsy will probably show, that whatever 4 or 5 shots, 6 shots, whatever he took, they were all to the back. What really concerns me is, last week in Bossier City, a guy came from Alabama. Y'all probably seen the news. He killed somebody in Alabama. He went into the Valero gas station on Industrial, I think it was. He killed 2 people. He came outside when the police arrived with a gun in hand. He didn't just shoot at the police, he shot one. Now, I asked the mayor and the chief of police, is there a problem with the Shreveport Police Department? Maybe there's a problem with the training. They said it's not. But do you know what happened to the guy in Bossier City that shot the police officer that was in an armed battle with the police? He was arrested. They did their job. They disarmed him and they arrested him. How do somebody get pulled over for a traffic, you know what amount of traffic violation is, Mr. Jackson? Improper lane change?
Hold on, Pastor Houston.
Pastor, your time is up. But I'm going to give you some more time. But let me explain something to you. And my heart goes out to you all. It goes out to everyone. In fact, I think it was Saturday night before, Sunday morning before day, my nephew was on the Cooper Road. He got shot 3 times. He was in surgery yesterday. Unfortunately, when we turn the case over to the state police, we have no more jurisdiction until they go through the video and they release it. We have once they come on the scene, it's out of Shreveport Police Department's hands. There's nothing we can do, but we can wait on the state police. My advice would be, one office is in Bossier, the one that, I can't remember the address, where we went to see the video of the last shooting. But if there is a way that you all could contact them as to basically saying what's the time frame of before they release the video, it would help us all. But there is nothing that we could do about it because it's in the state troopers, state police hand. And that's where it is. I mean, I hurt just like you all. I want to see it like you all. Whatever I can do in my power, I asked Ms. Fleming, she's working on legislation to do some things to maybe assist us. But at this time, Pastor, from one pastor to another, my heart bleeds just like yours and just like theirs. But there is nothing. You could come up here every week and everything that you say is sound. But until the state police releases the video and have the family, before anybody else, come to Bossier City to see it, and then they will release it, then you'll have, the mayor will go, and the police chief, vice chair, and myself will go. But the family will be the first to go. Until then, there's nothing we could do, sir. Absolutely nothing. I mean, You could hear people out there talking that we ought to be doing something, the mayor ought to be doing something, the council. Once it's out of our hands, Pastor, there's nothing we can do at this point. But I'm praying that hopefully, within the next week or 2 weeks, no later, that the state police will be finished with their thorough report, and then they will notify the family, they will notify the administration, that they will notify us. And that's where we are.
Pastor, has anyone from LSP contacted you all?
You still hadn't? No.
No one has from
No.
LSP has contacted
Right.
you all?
No.
As to the timeline on their investigation,
No.
or give you an update as to where
No.
they are?
No.
And there's nothing,
So-
we
so-
can't, yes, sir.
So I appreciate, and we had this conversation with the mayor and the police chief, both saying, well, it's out of our hands, we turn it over, the public asks for it. But my question is to you, the city council, I asked them, they really didn't have an answer, but this video of the killing is viral. It's all over the place.
Yes, sir.
And doesn't it seem like you should be doing something to get out from under that bad press?
Well,
I mean,
Pastor, this is what I'm
if the
saying.
situation
Yes,
is,
sir.
as you said is, that it's in the state police hand and there's
Yes, sir.
nothing that you can do about it.
No, sir.
Then maybe y'all need to make some changes to really, watch this.
Well, let me explain
Watch
something.
this.
Let me
Let
tell
me
you
show you
one,
this.
let me tell you one point. What happened, there was some other shootings that the police department was, they were the ones in the investigation. We took it out of their hand and put it into the state police hand.
Right, and I can appreciate that.
Right.
But just like you said, we can contact the state police
Yes,
and
sir.
see what the timeline is.
Yes, sir.
My assessment, and I said this to the mayor and the chief of police, and I think the chief said, well, we don't want to seem like we're interfering. You don't have to interfere, but there could be a person from the state police that keep the city informed on the progress of the investigation. So that they came out with another update about 2 weeks ago that's saying, well, basically the same thing the public information officer said, which is it only leaves a doubt and try to create a narrative.
Yes, sir.
So there could be somebody that you don't have to, they don't have to give you all of the information,
Okay.
but they can give you an update so you can keep the public informed as to
Right.
what's going on.
Pastor, I'll tell you what I will do. If you give me your number, I will go through the chain of command. I will ask the chief of police, I will ask the administration to see if they can contact whoever the person from the state police to get them an information on an update. And once they do that, I will personally call you myself.
Well, that's fine. I
I'll
can-
do that.
I can
What's
give
your
you
number,
My
Pastor?
number is 713-876-5512.
713-876-5512. Let me give it back to you. 713-876-5512.
Yes.
You got my word.
Let me say one thing before I sit down. I know my time
Yes,
is
sir.
up.
Yes, sir.
When these police officers walked up to that car, they didn't ask Joseph if he was related to James Green, Tabitha Taylor, Alan Jackson, Ursula Bowman, Grayson Bush. They didn't ask that question. They snatched him out of that car. So what I'm saying is, it's our family today. But at the rate that it's going in this city, the mayor, I said, you've been on the job 6 months, you already have 3 shootings. He said, no, sir, been on the job for 4 months. Well, man, that's a shooting a month. At least 6 months made it look like it wasn't, that was 2 a month. But right now, we are shooting a month.
Yes.
It's out of control.
Yes.
There's something needs to be done.
Pastor, like I say, I feel your pain. I feel their pain. My sister, Cora,
I know
said to me,
Cora.
yesterday.
I'm from my forest, Ragsdale.
Me, you know I know you.
I know you, yeah.
So she says to me that Marcus got a phone call. He went out of his house. After going out of his house, my sister Virginia heard the shots because it's just normal for us to hear shots.
Right, right.
In our neighborhood, she didn't assume anything had happened. He stumbled back in the house before he collapsed and told her who shot him. So just imagine me, just like you all, getting a message that my nephew has been shot 3 times. One in the chest, one in the side, and one in the butt.
Yes.
So I feel your pain. You have my word that I will do the chain of command, and I will give you a call
Let
and
me ask you
tell
this
you what I
question.
find out.
Was your nephew shot by the Shreveport Police Department?
He was shot by his neighbor. I'm sorry.
Shot
I don't
by-
know who he was shot
Okay.
by another black
But see, here's
person.
the thing. We know who shot our family
Yes.
member. The video clearly shows what happened. And the only reason it's taking this long is that the state police cannot find justification.
Yeah, but
And that's
Pastor.
what they're searching for.
But what I'm saying, Pastor.
Lastly,
Yes, sir.
and as Pastor, I
Yes, sir.
closed a couple of times, my last close. Lastly, like I was saying, and if Bossier City can disarm a man that's shooting at them, there's a problem with the Shreveport Police Department.
Yes, sir.
They can't arrest a man who's face down with 3 people on his back.
Yeah, well, Pastor.
And I see, Mr. Butcher, on my way in, I seen the news article about your comments on the block party over the weekend and how you retweeted that video. I done been to your Facebook page. I didn't see you retweet the video of Joseph getting killed in the middle of the street. What's the problem? Do you respond better to block parties? Because there's a block,
Mr.
and there's enough of us to start a party.
Pastor Houston.
Yes, sir.
Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
Robert Tyler.
How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. Maybe the prayer spoken in the chamber weeks ago didn't reach one or teach not one person in law enforcement. It's been 15 days since the murder of Joseph Dwayne Taylor, and yet the body cam footage still hasn't been released, which in my opinion implies the thin blue line are actively engaging in a cover-up, maybe trying to get everyone's statement to match, or more. So let's talk solutions. First, we need a process in which body cam footage is released urgently to improve trust between the black community and the police department, who already told us Ronald Green hit a tree, only later to be proven that he was in fact beat to death. I have to ask, are we turning it over to LSP so we can scapegoat our role in leadership? See, the facts are the facts, and they don't change. Or is the footage being doctored? In my community, we are arrested within hours and are forced to bond out until our innocence is proven. Why aren't these officers being held to the same standards, or are they above the law? The mayor, he's shown great concern for the officers in every statement released. He makes sure that is paramount. So to show concern for us, how about we have some legislation from one of the council members supported by this administration to get some change, to get pushed the change in the use of force rules, because there is something deeply wrong with SPD being the police force that kills the most black people in America. There is something deeply wrong shooting a man in the back. Where's the transparency? Where's the accountability that we all like to speak about? I hear a lot about my community not snitching, but when these police-involved murders occur, everyone is tight-lipped. The hypocrisy is obtuse. Just as the councilman in District D was outspoken about citizens dancing downtown in the street, calling for their arrest, unsurprising to me, but quiet as a mouse in every instance of police brutality. So again, I ask, can we work on legislation that demands the immediate release of body cams when the events occur? Can we look at and change the use of force policy? And can we get a civilian board that oversees these use of force incidents? Because proven time after time, police cannot police police.
Calandria, is it Calandria?
Is it Calandria?
Ivers?
Fine.
My first time, I'm nervous.
Welcome.
Ms. Ivers, you have 3
Calandria
minutes.
Iverson?
You have 3 minutes.
Okay. 2219 Virginia Avenue. I don't think it's a black or a white issue. It's an issue of human life. And the first step should be to preserve human life. Okay? It's inhumane to think that you don't owe us or his family an explanation. A release of the footage. That's all we're asking. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Thank you, Ms. Shalice Smith. Hi, Ms. Smith, you have 3 minutes.
Or can you 15?
No.
Okay. My name is Shalice Smith. I'm a nonprofit owner here in Shreveport. It's called You Got the Trophy. I started it myself, director, treasurer, and president. Now, I'm here today because I'm here demanding justice for Joseph. One of the things you guys said is that we're doing everything I can, and another thing he stated, Mr. Green, I think you said you guys have done everything on your behalf. I kind of disagree with that. And I'm speaking from District A through, F? Okay. I think that we all should be working together. The problem starts there in each one of you guys' district. Not just the ones that look pretty when people come into town. I'm talking about the hood and the 7-Eleven 03 and all that. I'm talking about the property standards, how y'all carry us. Y'all want us to act right? Treat us like y'all care about us, huh? You say they partying out in the streets? They're trying to find something to do. We don't have anything here. I've been here 33 years. 33 years. And I've watched our school system fail. I've watched our community fall. It's constantly falling. I've watched the police brutality get completely out of hand. And more importantly, I'm asking you guys, because we voted for you guys to come see, right? You're over each district, right? What do we have to do to get you guys to come out and walk around your district and see what's going on? Because I'm pretty sure if you get up, you can see what's going on. You don't have any programs for jobs. You don't have any trade or anything that you want to give them. Yeah, I work with the colleges, BITC and all of that. However, I don't see, we have all these empty buildings. You have, we speak about revenue in Louisiana, but you guys aren't working with the business owners down here. It's no help. I think you're in District D, right, Mr. Butcher? I've emailed you several times. You Got the Trophy has been open for 3 years. You never respond. You don't you don't answer, you don't leave a message, you don't call me. You act like you don't care. And I'm in your district. I'm going to school for nursing, and I'm taking time out of my life to fund a nonprofit out of my pocket. So I feel that more importantly, each district need to get together, or maybe you guys can get with me and maybe we can sit down and have a conversation about some things that you guys can bring back to the community so we wouldn't have so many problems. They need jobs. You don't want them in the streets, give them some jobs. Minimum wage, give them something else to do. The kids' parks, the water parks, the pool, y'all close everything. But I see new cars for our police officers. I see Uri Drive looking like we came into a whole new city. But we over here by the fairground where it looks terrible. And I'm sure you guys can make some money off of that, live games and stuff. But nobody cleans that area. So you don't want them to act in the hood mentality, right? But you're gonna treat them like the hood. I don't understand that. If you want something different, it's gonna be a give situation. You guys have to give, and I'm sure the community in the city of Shreveport will too.
Ms. Smith, is this your contact information?
Yes, it is.
We will follow up with you.
Okay. And Mr. Butcher, can you please call me? I'm your district nonprofit.
Thank you. Marvin Muhammad.
Marvin Muhammad. February the 5th, 2019, Anthony Child was gunned down in the city of Shreveport after walking down the street by a Shreveport police officer. April the 5th, 2020, Wavy Austin was beat by Shreveport Police Department, and the coroner said that he died because of excited delirium. April 19th, Tommy McLaughlin died while in the custody of the Shreveport Police Department. There's videos where he was beaten and left in the back seat of a police car, unattended by our other first responders. February 3rd, Alonzo Bagler was gunned down, one shot to the chest, running from the police. April 23rd, 2023, Joseph Taylor was beat and then gunned down in the streets of Shreveport. See, we don't have a Joseph Taylor problem. We have a Shreveport Police Department problem. We also have, I think the young man's name is James Edward. His pictures are going viral, where his face is totally disformed from a May 1st incident from Shreveport Police Department. Beaten. In fact, there's a lawsuit right now that the Shreveport Police Department and the city of Shreveport has to answer to. My sister, the Bryan family, Miss Bryan, if you will, we have filed a report. And with her permission, we're going to turn this report over to the media. We went to Attorney Affairs where Lieutenant Tyler is over. And he told us don't file the report. He heard the audio and everything is okay, that she's mistaken, that her family members are mistaken. After her house was shot up, the police communication officer Sims, I'm gonna expose her, badge number 3221, told this woman while she's hiding to come out and give the phone to someone else before they send someone. But Chief Smith and Mary Arsenault say there's not a problem within the Shreveport Police Department and everything that comes under them. I beg to differ. To everyone that's under the sound of my voice, the Department of Justice will be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on the 16th. Reach out to me. We're gonna be there to deal with the city of Shreveport because it's a problem. I'm gonna say it again, we don't have a Joseph Taylor problem. We don't have an Anthony Childs problem, a Tommy McLaughlin problem, a Wavy Austin problem. We have a problem with how the Shreveport Police Department interact with black men.
Mr. Muhammad.
So as I
Mr.
close,
Muhammad.
ma'am.
Your time is up. Ms. Bryant,
Yes,
can you let her come to the mic?
yes, on January 22nd, I dialed 911 when my house was fired with multiple gunshots. And the 911 dispatcher asked me to verify 3 people. I'm begging, I'm crying, I'm begging. I handed the phone to my autistic son. He said, lady, send help, my sister been shot. I'm describing my daughter eye hanging out, my other daughter guts out. I'm crawling. After I get the phone back from him, she tells me 3 more times, ma'am, I need 1 more person. I'm crawling down the hall to my oldest daughter in blood to tell her, Mama Boo, tell this lady we need help. And that happened to me January the 22nd. All I want.
Miss,
No help for nobody. My baby fight for her life right now. My niece is dead. My 3 grandbabies got shot. My 7-year-old come home from school. She said, Grandma, I get scared because they gonna have that shooting drill. They gonna shoot up the school today. And I can't tell her no. I said, baby, we pray to God that they don't. I can't just tell her she's scared. She's 7 years old. She got shot in the leg.
What is in that folder? What is in that folder?
This
in
is
that
the-
folder?
This is the Internal Affairs report that we filed
Yes.
on April the 25th. This is the narrative of her and the people that was in the house at that time.
So-
That the Shreveport
Wait, Mr.
police is
Muhammad.
saying that we aligned.
Ms. Bryant, have you spoken with SPD?
I spoke to Internal Affairs.
Did you?
And he told us we can get the tape, but they
Have you-
won't give us the tape now.
Have you spoken with the chief?
No.
Okay. Chief Smith, will you please set up an appointment with Ms. with Ms. Bryant to go over that file with her regarding that shooting that occurred in January, please, sir? Marvin, you take her to Chief Smith, please.
Thank you.
Just hold the noise in the chamber, please. Is the last name Parker?
That's me, Adrian.
Adrian Parker?
Yes, thank you for having me. I drove 1,300 miles just to come here because I saw the video. So I'm here. The situation is this, and I want to address everybody up here. All you, and I speak in black and white. I'm a Black Panther, been one for over 55 years. Every white person up there don't have to worry about what we worry about when an officer encounters us. Our lives go immediately in jeopardy, and we fear for our lives. Because they want to escalate a situation for a blinker so that they can shoot and kill you. That's what they do, and that's why we're here today. That's what they do. They want to shoot and kill every black person that they encounter. And nobody up here seems to want to do anything about it. I'm hearing a lot of deflection, talking about ISP. Those officers are still working and getting paid. The video is out there. They did what they did. They killed that man in cold blood. There's gotta be something that you guys need to do. Forget ISP, change that system. It's just bureaucratic, you know what. It's a cover-up, it's a deflection, so that you don't have to be held accountable. They're waiting on the fluctuation in our communities to go away. They're hoping we go away. We're done with going away. We're fed up. It has to get done. Black men, women, and children needs to stop being killed and slaughtered in these streets across this country. I don't believe that nothing can be done about it. I just don't believe that. And if you believe that, get a mirror and figure it out. Something can be done. And for my African American people up here, those black people being dead in the streets is you. Just as easy as it's me, it's you. Because when they encounter us, they don't care. The only thing they see is the blackness on your skin, and your life immediately goes into danger. And they can't deny it because it's been going on forever. It's never been different. It's time to change. We're fed up. We're not taking it anymore. We're not.
Mr. Kincraft? You have to go put him right there. Mr. Walker?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Councilman Green, City Council, Mr. Mayor, staff. My name is Art Walker, and I'm here to thank you guys for your efforts back in 2019 when I came before you to ask for your assistance in helping a project that I was involved in 2019, which was getting Louisiana to allow for the growing of industrial hemp. That effort was successful. We do have a new law that allows that to occur. This past year, I was placed on a statewide task force that's looking at the industrial hemp opportunity that the state of Louisiana has and the rest of the country has in order to better utilize the stuff that's called industrial hemp. I've passed out to each of you information about what industrial hemp is. Also gave you some numbers on where the world is going when it comes to industrial hemp. The handout looks like this, if you don't have it. Looks like this. By 2028, the world's industrial hemp revenue stream should be $27 billion. That's by 2028. That's the world. By 2030, in the United States, the United States industrial hemp revenue stream should be $23.3 billion. The state of Louisiana, zero. Zero, currently and projected. The task force that I'm on is looking at what we can do to get our fair share of that $23 billion. My question and my ask of you is, how much of it do you want, the state of Louisiana? And in order to get that, my ask is, we need to work together to look at how we can attract those opportunities from around the state, from around the country, and around the world, because that's where we are in the world. Everyone is looking for places to go and to grow industrial hemp. Louisiana is in a unique situation where our climate and our soil provides those opportunities for businesses to grow. So my ask is, are you willing to work with those that are in the business to make sure that we have economic opportunities in the city of Shreveport, in Caddo Parish, Northwest Louisiana? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Mr. Pratt. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Ken Kraft, 157 Archer, Shreveport, 71105. I'm going to do my quarterly request that the mayor and the council give serious consideration to a public safety pay raise for January of '24. 13% was granted and went to effect on the February 15th, 22 paychecks. 2/3 of that 13% is gone to inflation. The rest probably will be gone by the end of the year. I don't think 13% this time. I think 7.5 or 8. The combination of higher credit, sales tax is all, and unfortunately approaching 150 vacant police. How many fire? How many public works spar? But there are hundreds of general fund appropriated positions for which no one is working because they're vacant. So with lower debits and higher credits, hopefully y'all could consider that. I also want to ask this council to endorse by resolution in the immediate future. The Caddo Parish Commission passed last Thursday Resolution 22 of 23, ordering and calling a special election of 3.5 new mills on property in Caddo Parish for juvenile justice and other matters. That will be on the lower right-hand corner of the October 14th gubernatorial primary ballot. And that was my original comments. However, having heard the comments of Mr. Thomas and several other impassioned speakers, Mr. Arsenault was my councilman when the late Hillary Huckabee, representing A, Tabitha, and Senator Greg Tarver, representing G, I think Herman Farr might have been F, Reverend Farr, a quiet gentleman. They tried then, unsuccessfully, to create a citizens review board for police. Some cities have them, some don't. It's time for this city to give serious consideration, because as Mr. Robert Thomas said, he said impossible, I think, but it is hard for the police to police the police. When Arthur Anderson became under the control of Enron, you had a multi-billion-dollar scandal, and you had Skilling and Lay and Fastow go to jail and others. You can't investigate yourself with total objectivity. A citizens review board might recommend other things. Video be released, change state law. We need more mental health training for our police officers. An officer needs to know when he goes to a domestic that the speaker is a troubled mentally, he might be schizo or bipolar or any number of things. So we need to work on that. But I wasn't planning to say that, but having heard several speakers, Mr. Chairman, please give consideration to structuring some type of meaningful citizens review committee. I think it's time. It was talked about 40 years ago. We still don't have it.
Mr. Kraft, don't leave. Don't leave.
Mr. Kraft.
And speaking with Representative Glover on this past weekend, one of the things that we wanted to look at, because you know so much of with civil service is tied up with the state, and I asked him what would be best practices for that, where the state legislature would hear that, because I definitely wanted to offer a resolution for the Citizens Review Board, because I think that it's imperative to do so, especially in these particular type of matters. So we're still looking at that, and we are to meet soon after the shooting that we had. I knew that I sponsored some legislation to be able to have that sort of like a review board in a sense. With that COVID hit, so we weren't able to do those in-person meetings. So what I want to look at again and changing the particular structure that we have is to make sure that we put some teeth to whatever it is that we need to. And just as you said, it would be a citizens review board that would be meaningful, but definitely would touch upon the issues that affect our community in the capacities in which you speak of. So yes, sir, that is the
Thank you.
conversation that we're having.
Another of your predecessors, Councilman Calvin Ben Lester,
Yes,
in Mayor Glover's term, tried
yes,
to do two big things. Unfortunately, he didn't do either one. He tried to get a tenants' bill of rights worked out with landlords. It got a lot of motion. It got drafted into it, but it never passed. And the other thing he tried to do is he tried to do a citizens review board, but he was unable to get either of those through. Mayor Glover was asked his comments on it, and as I recall, Mayor Glover spoke carefully about it, saying it could really be a good thing if it's properly structured, but Cedric said it could be a terrible thing if it's not properly structured. Don't just add another layer of bureaucracy, add a meaningful dialogue between the citizens.
That is
Whether
what-
it's
that's what I'm
Mr.
saying.
Taylor or Mr. McLaughlin or
That it has to be meaningful dialogue that is going to to ensure that the voices are heard.
Correct.
With the number of incidents that we have and the concerns that you have in Black and brown communities, that I think that that you definitely have to make sure that all of those caveats in place. And so since we know that these things have to be changed at the state level, then I want to make sure that the language is what it is supposed to be, in order to make sure that the voices of those that appear or feel that their voices are not heard are heard.
My final comment, go back to the Kiel Radio interview with Representative Glover when he was mayor. Go back to his driving while black interview
Yes.
and tell me we don't have a problem.
Oh, I know we do. That's it.
Thank you. On tomorrow, we will have an executive appointment to consider. There are no items on the consent agenda for introduction or to be adopted today. Mr. Dark, would you proceed with regular agenda legislation, please?
Yes, sir. The first item under resolutions on second reading, or which require only one, is Resolution 166 of 2021, which is postponed until June 27th. The second one is Resolution 60, which authorizes the purchasing agent to reject all the bids that were received for the renovation of Fire Station 16. Apparently they got several bids and all of them were over budget, so they're going to try to revisit the scope of the project and try again.
Are there any questions or comments on any of those items? Mr. Dark, would you proceed with introduction of resolutions not to be adopted prior to May 23rd, 2023?
Yes, sir. 61 is one that comes before the council every year. It adopts the system survey and compliance questionnaire required by the Legislative Auditor's Office of the State of Louisiana. Basically, it's a annual ritual that the state auditor brings us to do, that our auditors and the finance department fill out to make sure that we're doing the things that the auditor requires as far as financial management. 62 approves the budget for the 2023 and 24 year for the Caddo-Shreveport Sales and Use Tax Commission. For those of you who are new, our sales tax is collected by a commission that is two members from the City Council, two members from the City of Shreveport and two from the Caddo Parish School Board. Ms. Jones and I are actually your representatives on that. This budget goes up approximately 5%, and almost all of that is because the roof at their building out on D Street needs to be repaired, and they need a new replacement computer server. 63 authorizes the mayor to accept an in-kind donation of a 2009 Allegra RV valued at $24,000 from the parish sheriff's office. This one and several others after it are basically the occasional exchanges of surplus equipment from one law enforcement body to another. 64, 5, and 6 are us donating equipment to various police agencies, some vehicles to the Minden Police Department, prisoner containment system spotlights to Ville Platte City Marshal, and let me see what the other one is for. Let's see, vehicles to Ville Platte gets that, and 4 spotlights. Let's see, Ascension Parish gets a couple of other things, vehicles, I believe. But we do these pretty much every so often when it's time for stuff to decide whether it goes to the auction or whether some other law enforcement agency can use it. 67 states the City of Shreveport's endorsement of Andrus Arts and Entrepreneur Center, LLC, to participate in the Benefits of Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program. This is located adjacent to the Fairmont on at Common and Common, Cotton and Common. This will be the subject of a public hearing on June 13th, so it would be postponed next time when it comes through. These, we give up about $12,000 a year in property taxes. They're going to spend $2.7 million to renovate and expand a building that's been abandoned for more than a generation. 68 is a similar one, stating the city's endorsement of Cooper's Corner LP to participate in the same restoration tax abatement program. This is located at 700 Texas Street. It's actually the location of where the Tipitina's location was for a little while. They're going to spend approximately $1.8 million restoring this 1936 building. We give up about $8,000 a year in property taxes, and this again will be a public hearing on the 13th of June.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on any of these items?
What is Andrus and Entrepreneur Center LLC again? What is that business?
Bonnie, I believe, might have a better handle on the details than I do. This is the garage next to the old Fairmont, is what I understand.
Good afternoon. It is on the corner of Crockett Street and Common. It's at 717 Crockett Street. It's kind of adjacent to Shreveport Common, actually in the Shreveport Common area. But it's a business that supports entrepreneurship. It has hubs for businesses to come in and do grow their business. It provides technical assistance and other services.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other questions on any of these items? Mr. Dodd, would you proceed with the introduction of ordinance not to be adopted prior to May 23rd, 2023?
Yes, sir. Ordinance 45 closes and abandons a portion of the Lockett Lane dedication in the Ravenna subdivision. This is one where we don't need the street dedication anymore, but there are utility servitudes in the same location which we will be retaining. This was done at the request of the property owner. 46 amends a portion of Chapter 50 of the code relative to the Smoke-Free Air Act that would allow for smoking in casinos under certain circumstances.
Are there any questions on any of those items? No, thank you. Mr. Dodd, would you proceed with ordinance on second reading and final passage?
Okay, ordinance 32, been postponed several times. We have been discussing and worked some things out with your clerk, try to come up with a way to make this a little bit easier for everyone to vote on tomorrow. It's five different amendments, but they're all one different thing. One of them, the first one is for street money. I believe the next one is for property standards. The next two are for lighting and litter. And the last one is so we can pay our insurance bills. And we've taken everything else out of the ordinance. So this basically brings it down to its most basic essentials. We've agreed with your clerk that going forward, our budget ordinance that we submit you will be simpler, but this seemed like the best way to get this one, give you a good chance to do up or down votes tomorrow. 33, 34, 35, 37, and 39 have all been postponed because they have companion. They're part of what's coming into them or going out from them is part of what 32 has to pass in order for those to occur. 33 amends the budget to put the money in the streets fund that 32 appropriates. 34 is the capital budget that puts that same money into the capital program. 35 is an amendment to the riverfront budget, which reduces revenue a little bit so we don't transfer quite as much money into general fund, and it will fund the consulting we do for Amtrak and for the REV project. 36 amends the water and sewer, 37 amends the water and sewer budget. Most of what this one does moves a little bit of money into a capital project, but it also moves money into retained risk to pay the insurance bill. 39 started out as just an amendment to help pay the insurance bill. The amendment to that, as you recall, we had the roof fall off or blow off at the hangar out there, and so this will move the insurance money into that so we can pay for that. And 40 brings money in from airports, water and sewer and general fund in order to pay our insurance bills. Before we get past it, before I keep going, are there any questions on any of those budget items? Okay. 41 amends various parts of the property standards code to make it clear that our property standards ordinance requirements also apply to non-residential structures. 42 amends various items in the Unified Development Code, mostly to make them clearer, but also to put in a specific use by right in certain industrial districts for truck parking, which has been an issue in various parts of the city. 43 is zoning case 23-31C. It's property on the southwest side of McKinley near KCS Avenue, or Kansas City Avenue. This is basically being downzoned from industrial to commercial for a catering business and reception facility. This was approved 5-1 by MPC. 44 is zoning case 2323. It's property on Linwood near 64th, which is for a restaurant. This is from residential to commercial, but it was approved by MPC 9-0 when it came before them.
Are there any questions or comments on any of those items? Madam Clerk, is there any table legislation to be removed from the table today?
There is not.
We have no property standards ABO appeals to consider today. We have no MPC or ZBA appeals to consider tomorrow. Are there any other appeals, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Are there any reports from officers, boards, and committees?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, is there a clerk's report?
There's one that will be given tomorrow.
Thank you. Executive session, there's none. Are there any comments from council members or from Mr. Mayor? You have an addition? Yes, sir, Councilman.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were just in the mayor. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry. I thought it was second, not second, I'm first, and I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Mr. Telfair?
Yes, I just wanted to give a shout out to our Job Corps. And for those who have never been out there, it is a treasure for Shreveport. I had the privilege of going out there once again to speak on leadership, mentoring, and entrepreneurship to members of the culinary group and some other students. But I tell you, it was a wonderful experience. It was great food. They fed me lunch, and I think they were very willing to embrace someone with a different perspective than they normally hear. But I tell you what, anyone that has an opportunity to just go out there and just request a visit, be taken on a tour, you will not be disappointed. It's such a wonderful facility. The people out there, the kids out there that are going through that training are so respectful and obviously are the future of our city. And I'm very excited about what I see and hope that they continue their path to success. And we are going to all be beneficial as a citizen, as a city, because of what they do out there. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments from any council members?
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
given the comments of what you heard today from the audience, will you be making a call to LSP to ask them about their timeline of going in?
I'll be glad to make that call. I can
Yes.
tell you that my prior experience is that the answer will be, we'll do this in our own time, and we won't give you any information, but I'm glad to make the call.
Would you please
Thank
tell
Yes,
them
ma'am.
that to relay that message to the family?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Yeah,
Because they
because
had
I
asked us-
actually think that they need
Sorry.
to make sure that they contact the family, at least tell them where the investigation is going at that particular point in time. I know they may tell us whatever it is that they need to tell us, but to the family, just so there won't be, that the family won't have to create a narrative that may not be true. But I think communication is essential, and would you please ask them to do so?
I will, and I know that we have provided the family contact information to the Louisiana State Police.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Mayor, I was going to make that same request, but thank you very much.
Be happy to do so.
Yes, sir. Are there any other questions, comments from any council members? If there's nothing else to come before this body, this meeting is adjourned.
I wanted to say something. I'm the name of the
No.